All right, Ms. Robinson, tell us your story about your case with the state of Georgia, you and your mother, of child cruelty. You go ahead.
The case dealing with me and my mother, Marvalene Smith, was brought against us because they stated that I had neglected, abused, and molested my children, and my mother also. They also stated that we had kidnapped children December 1st, 2003, and that I had been on the run. When my children were kidnapped, November 15, 2007. In actuality, I wasn't on the run. I had custody. And here's my custody papers. They were signed off by the Honorable O. Wayne Ellaby. And that was December the 9th, 2003. As it states, based upon the information provided in the court's review of the materials in this case, the courts find that it's the best interest of the minor children return legal and physical custody to the mother, Lonnieta Marvalene. It also states, it is therefore the order of this court, based on the findings and the temporary order entered by the Lowndes County Superior Court Civil Action 2003 CVD 2087, the court hereby directs that the legal and physical custody of the minor children, Samuel Robinson, Jeremiah Robinson, and Vashti Robinson, be returned to their mother, Lonnieta Robinson, instantly. 2. The court further relieves the Lowndes County Department of Family and Children's Services of any further responsibility in this case. That was so ordered the 9th day of December 2003 by O. Wayne Ellaby, juvenile judge, chief juvenile judge. But as stated and filed in Lowndes County Superior Court September 07 term, State versus Lonnieta L.Robinson and Marvalene Smith, it states, 6 counts of cruelty to the children, 3 for me, 3 for her. And it's dated December the 1st, 2003, which is not true. Frauded document. Because this paper, December the 9th, 2003, are the custody papers. I didn't steal any kids. They were still in foster care. The boys were with Miss Bertha Moody, Samuel and Jeremiah, and my daughter Vashti was with Miss Holloman in Adel at that time of this. And the reason they're saying this is they're trying to cover an incident that happened in 2003 while my children were in DFACS care, when they allowed my ex-husband an unsupervised visit. They allowed him an unsupervised visit. And my children ended up getting hurt on the 24th of November. That weekend when Miss Gail Barrentine brought them to the home. She didn't bring them with no clothes, no nothing, diapers or anything. She brought them. They were nasty, had an odor to them, and they was hurt. I didn't know how bad. But when I got ready to give them a bath, I told my mother to take care of it because at the time I still had a catheter in me from just being released from the hospital. But my boys had cuts on the back of their buttocks, bruises where they had been tied down, and bruises up and down their back where they had been beaten. And this is what DFACS is trying to cover up, the fact that they violated that court order that Judge Ellaby and Charles Reddick had drawn up. And as a result of, you want me to show the picture? As a result of that, this is what happened to my boys in DFACS custody. The bruises where someone had beat them, where they had been ligature marks, where they had been tied down, signs of molestation, bruises up and down their back, and this is not mongoloid as they tried to state it was. It's bruises because I not only took them to South Georgia Medical Center where they saw Dr. Loeffler and she didn't treat them, I also took them over to Thomasville, to Archbald, and the doctors confirmed that they had been abused and wondered why Dr. Loeffler didn't give them anything because they was in pain. And all this is stemming from that 2003 incident, because I wasn't on the run. I hadn't abused my children. I didn't have to kidnap anything because I had custody given to me by the juvenile judge, which he stated that we get the divorce first. He finalized everything else, and that's what he did. But in 2005, my ex-husband took it upon himself and had someone to draw him up another set of divorce papers, which I'm holding right here in my hands. And he told the judge he was my attorney. And that wasn't true. He frauded these documents because he knew he had lost his parental rights. He wasn't supposed to be around the children. And like I stated earlier, my oldest son is not his, and he has him. And that's the main one, mostly, that has been getting the buck of the abuse, because we have up-to-date medical records that stated and showed him and my daughter, Vashti. But these papers, he had them drawn up, and they were supposed to have been filed over here with Superior Court, which they weren't. They was filed in Moultrie because a letter came and said for Miss Sarah Crow to file them with the Superior Court. March 17, 2005, that's when the hearing was supposed to be. I knew nothing of it. The papers were signed off on March 24, 2005, but by Richard T. Kent, who should have looked into this, who should have investigated to find out what was going on, and should have found out which law firm he was supposedly had worked for, but he didn't. He signed the papers, didn't check into anything, and took his word on it, which my ex-husband didn't have no rights. Dafford D.Madison didn't have no rights to those 3 children because he lost his parental rights because of what he had, the abuse, the molestation, and the mistreatment he inflicted upon me and my 3 children. And also there's another paper that states that the 11th day of January 2008, this action was filed off on with Lowndes County. So it's so many different dates and everything, because all this is not legal, it's illegal. And as this all was going on, I made up a packet and I had them taken to the juvenile judge, Judge Owain Ellaby. After I found out he was trying to say I was on the run and had stole the children and everything. And his reply letter states, all material furnished to this office, this is from the Juvenile Court Southern Judicial Circuit, Owain Ellaby, he's the chief juvenile judge here in Valdosta. You had someone come to my office and deliver the enclosed material. I have reviewed the same. I have investigated this matter and determined that this court previously returned the children to you by order of court dated December 9, 2003. Since that time, no case has been pending in the juvenile court concerning your children. There may have been some activity with the Department of Family and Children Services that did not involve this court. And the activity that was when I received my children back, when they were sent home real sick and infected, I tried to get DFACS to help me, to see about pressing charges, but no help. Pam Powell, she's a DFACS worker, told me she couldn't do anything for me. There was nothing she could do.